This is the Worship Team Training Podcast with your host and training director, Brannon Dempsey. Worship Team Training provides live workshops and online resources to help inspire, create, and transform the leading of worship. Now, here's your host, Brannon Dempsey.
What's going on? Hello, worship teams. What's up? How are you? I hope everybody's doing great. Welcome to our Friday special with the very one and only lovely Timmons.
Bono. Thank you very much.
You can all leave now. Ready to go. Man, this is exciting. We just want to say welcome. Thank you guys for coming. We have a lot of great stuff happening. And you can see this man right here, Timmons in the hot seat. It's been a long time. If you guys have followed us with our podcast that we started out years ago right here at Worship Team Training, you will remember that Timmons was actually one of our first co-hosts with us, with Derek Williams, Tony Guerrero, all these guys. I muted Timmons for the second, so just hang on, because if I let it go, he's just going to talk all over the place.
It's true.
See? There he goes again. So you guys remember him from... Nothing's coming out. Okay. So we have a great time, man. It's been too long, but we are here to celebrate. We thank you guys so much for coming out on our special Facebook Live rendition on this Friday to celebrate Timmons and his new album release. Also, the brand new Worship Team Training University site. We got it up and running. Our team has been working all hours, like we've been working all hours for Tim to get the album up and everything is great. We are going to show you how you can actually access the download for free. You can win it free. And also there's a discount code that you have to enter by downloading one of Timmons' new songs, Reflections of You, off of the new album. So if you go to the link right now, that's up on the video screen. On the title, it says wttu.co/Timmons. If you go to that link, then go to that page now. You can find more about Tim's album, the album release, the story behind it, as well as our membership specials for the grand opening. Also a discount code that you use for the checkout. It's item number 2. So when you go down there for item number 2 and you get that discount code, it's called... You'll see it. I'm not going to say it because you got to go to the page first. Enter that code to the store page, and then you can walk away with Timmons' brand new download single song. And we're so excited to have him. So let's get on with it, because I want to show you more of what else that you can get at the end of the show. And again, how to get these downloads and how to get the specials. So before we get to all that, Timmons, how you doing, baby?
Great.
Man.
I'm great.
Awesome.
Oops.
Is that you or me?
That was me. I'm getting things. There, we're good. I'm back.
Awesome. It's good to have you here. Man, you look fantastic.
Duh.
Yeah.
It's been a long time. It's been a few years, man.
It has.
Hang out.
It's been like 2 or 3, maybe. Yeah. And so, yeah. And I think maybe you left some trimmings of your beard around, and somehow they made its way up to my...
You're looking hot. I'm going to say it out loud. I'm going to say it on the worldwide interweb. You're looking real hot.
Thank you. Well, I'm trying to keep up, bro. I mean, you're looking fantastic. Your album's fantastic. It's so great to have you here today.
Yeah, and, I mean, it's a kid's record. So, I don't do kids' music for a living, but I have so many kids. And I was a kid once. Gosh, it's weird seeing myself there. And kids' music is just, sometimes when you're in the car and you're a dad and your kids want to hear that stuff, I'm just like, I need something that I can listen to too. So that was, my hope was that I could write a record that kids would pray for the rest of their lives. Like these songs, like I think of the songs that I grew up with. And, there's this old song that I play. I was in a salty play when I was a kid. If you don't know what that is. Remember that,
yes.
Just fine if you're listening to this. And it was like, I cast all my cares upon you. I lay all of my burdens down at your feet. Anytime I don't know what to do, I will cast all my cares upon you. And I remember that song.
Old school.
I sang it just as a little kid. And literally for years, I still, that is one of those songs that I will just pull out if I'm in the midst of something. And it's just... I have to pray these old prayers. And so I thought, how could I give kids prayers that they'll pray for the rest of their lives. So it's a kid's record called Who Am I? So it's worth checking out. You might like it.
Awesome. Cool. We have that album and it's on the site. We're going to explain more about how you can get it. But again, you can simply go right now to the link that's inside the subject header of this video, wttu.co/Timmons. And while you're there, look at the brand new Worship Team Training University site. It's slick. It's got a lot of great things on it. You don't want to miss it. And also, if you become a member today, not only do you get specials we are running a half off special right now. So only you guys that are watching this program, watching this broadcast, you can get a half off membership, and you can win the whole album from Tim Timmons. So it works very simply. I'm going to talk about how that works later on. And so Tim, tell us more about the album itself, as far as, what impact has been taking place as you've been singing these songs to kids, and you've been doing some touring around. What's been the impact so far?
Yeah, I mean, you mean of this record?
Yeah.
Specifically? Well, yeah. It's pretty dang new. I actually got to use it. I do a few vacation Bible schools a year, and it is so fun to help kids pray. And you know me, and something that I'm always talking about is how do we help people own their response to Jesus? So as worship leaders, I really think that was Jesus's everything he did was helping people own their response to him. So he didn't tell them what their response should be. He helped them own it through stories and through great questions. So I've taken kids as like an experiment to go, could we do this with kids? Could we ask them great questions and help them own this prayer? And so I've got to do that this past year. I'm out in California, and every year I'm doing a few of those vacation Bible schools, and they are so fun. So we had great response this past year. Well, there's one song on here called I Surrender, and I might even put it on my next Big Boy record. Kids record and a Big Boy record, and I don't know why Big People Records works. But it sounds like I'm talking about big people, and so I'm not talking about big people or little people, being completely politically incorrect.
It's okay.
But the song is I Surrender, and I don't know, most of my life, every surrender piece, your hand looks hot, by the way.
Thank you. Sorry.
Great. Every surrender piece, song or prayer has always been this, really contemplative, I surrender all, where you want to cry and just get down and deep. And it hit me that surrender actually doesn't have to be the saddest time of your week. It could actually be filled with joy. And what if we were to teach kids that surrender, even in the midst of crap and stuff?
Right.
What if Jesus is actually big enough to handle these things? So that was kind of the overall hope is through that song, was giving kids the idea that we could actually surrender and still have joy in the midst of it. So yeah, it's been so fun hearing kids talk about that and hearing parents talk about these songs that their kids are praying and asking them questions. And so pretty cool.
I love that. Now, you know what? You and I have been leading worship for an awful long time. And many of those out there watching been leading worship for years. Maybe they just started. As you know, there's a huge difference between leading adults in worship and leading kids in worship. And I love what Jesus said, Matthew 18:3. Truly, I tell you, unless you change to become like little children, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven. That is something that your album speaks on. So can you talk more about what it means to come to Jesus as a child in worship? What does that mean? What does that do for you?
Yeah, I mean, I think, oh gosh, so many thoughts. We've been talking so much in my community, in my Jesus community, if you will. We've been talking so much about wonder and not having everything figured out like I just thought I have most of my life.
Yeah.
And not having God. I mean, it's so cliche, not having God in a box, but really not going, okay, here's how he works. This is the system that we put him in. It just doesn't seem to work like that.
Right.
And kids are great with that. Their understanding is so beautiful. Mm-hmm. You know what else is really beautiful about leading kids is when they do all their hand motions and, all that stuff. they don't care if you're looking at them. I mean, they're just
That's
like,
so
they're
true.
going for it, and they can care less if they're, looking cool or not.
Yeah.
And there's something there that, I'm big into. There are 10,080 minutes in a week, and 80 of those minutes are spent in a gathering somewhere where we are practicing surrender all 80 minutes long, right? And what it looks like to practice Jesus in those 80 minutes. And then there are 10,000 other minutes during the rest of our week. And it's this idea of kids, if we can watch how they practice in the 80 minutes and then bring that into our lives, not that we need to run around with our hands up all day long, but this idea of like, I don't know, Jesus is at work, and I'm just going to trust and walk in that way. I don't know. It changes when you see little kids dance and do their moves. That how would we do that in the rest of our week?
Yeah.
I don't know, but it's one of my favorite parts about leading kids.
I love that. So do you think, I'm right with you here. Do you think that we've lost touch with our inner youth, if you will, in coming to Jesus like a child? Do you think we've lost that essence because maybe we become too busy, we become too adult? What are your thoughts on that? I totally have. Yeah.
I'm too old. I feel like I've seen this. I've done this.
Yeah.
As much as I say we shouldn't put God in a box, I still do. And I don't know. I think that is a daily part of our journey is trying to figure that out.
Mm-hmm. So I think for a lot of worship leaders too, they're trying to figure out, I mean, we all do, about how to engage the church, how to to have God take worship deeper. And like with kids, like you just mentioned, it doesn't take much because they are who they are. What's that like, the difference of leading children versus leading adults?
One of my mentors said a long time ago, he said, and I was actually talking about leading high school students. And he said, man, sometimes it's a race to see who's going to worship first, the students or the chairs, I shared that a long time ago.
Yes.
They both have their different issues. And honestly, I think at the end, our job is to help people own their response to Jesus, whether they're 6 or 86. And so I kind of lead really similar, a group of 6-year-olds and a group of 86-year-olds. I might talk a little different, but I'm trying to figure out, how do we still ask these kids questions of like, hey kids, what are you afraid of? What's been hard in your life lately? Or what are you scared of? Have you guys ever been scared at night? Asking these questions, which I might ask big people a little different question, but I'm still asking the same question, trying to get down to the heart of why we actually don't trust him. If that's a song we're about to pray, still asking these questions. And man, it's really powerful. I learned a pretty great lesson. One of my kids was in preschool, and the teacher asked, hey, would Tim come and sing at this, for our class? And like, sure. And so I went in there and I said, kids, like, what are you scared of? And it turned real bad real quick. They're like, spiders. I'm scared of, just the dumbest things.
Yeah.
And so it changed the way you ask the questions. But still, once I got them into these questions, they started owning their response to Jesus. And that is my job as a worship leader. It's not to sing songs. Music is just the vehicle that we get to use. That's it. It does not have other power. It is a great, beautiful vehicle that we get to use.
Yep.
The Bible is a vehicle that we get to use. It is so beautiful, but it's the vehicle. It's not the point.
100%.
Is not the point.
100%.
Right?
100%.
And I made that the point my whole life was worship was the point.
Right.
I got in arguments and try to make the pastor know that the worship is really important. It is important, but it's just the vehicle.
Absolutely. It's the vehicle. So how can a person own their response? What's the first thing that needs to happen before one can own their response? Does that make sense?
No, give me more.
For instance, if someone is to own the response to worship God, to give that over to him, what's the number one thing that you think people need to get over?
As the worship leader or as the congregant, if you will? As the congregant,
as worshipers, what's the one thing that we need to get past?
That is a great question. What do I need to get past? I mean, at some point I have to remember that, I'm just trying to think of Jesus's words in that situation. And it would probably be something around, seeking first his kingdom and not ours. So owning my response to him.
What do you need to get past?
That I'm the king.
Wow.
That I'm the king of my kingdom, and women, that you're the queens of your queendom, or worship pastor, that you are the king of that moment. It's just every time. I mean, that's why I write this on my wrist every day for 8 years now. I've been writing this little X on my wrist. And part of that is just this idea of, Tim, it is not about your kingdom today. And ultimately I get to go, okay, at the end of my day, at the end of this podcast, that Jesus' kingdom would be way more famous than mine. At the end of the day today, when I'm at my kids' soccer practice, that people would go, man, Jesus comes through that guy. Not some silly, dumb religion, but Jesus. I mean, something's different about that guy. So that's me owning my response to him. It's when somebody cuts me off today on the road as I'm about to go to my manager's house. Someone cuts me off today. My kingdom could come out, and then I'm not owning my response to Jesus. I'm owning my response in that situation, and I'm pissed off about that. Or I could go, you know what, Jesus? I'm going to practice praying for that person this morning. I mean, how do we own our response to Jesus? And I think part of that is saying that I'm not the king today, and it's not about my kingdom today.
So then how do we as leaders, or those within a worship team, how do we take that mindset to the stage when we lead people, or to the church that we meet in the parking lot before we hit the stage? How do we take that daily interaction to lead people in worship?
Another great question.
How does that connect?
Yeah, and I think everybody's journey is so different. But that's just the truth. That's why I love questions, and that's why Jesus asked so many dang questions, I think, was everybody was different. But in that, each person is finding their own journey in that, right? So if I'm asking a simple question, there are 50 people in that room, and 50 people will have a different answer to that question that they have to actually process and put their own lens on and go, okay, God, I'm going to see you through this lens. Helping people. I mean, in some ways, my job is to lead people into a place where they can own their response to Jesus. And some of that is not up to me, thankfully, right? Worship leaders, like, the heavy lifting is not ours to do. We can't do it as much as we've tried, and I try. I cannot lift any spiritual thing other than that's his job. So I think for me, I just keep asking these questions and trying to process it through myself. And something that I'm talking to worship leaders all the time about is, hey guys, when you're about to lead a group of people, what if you and your band all knew why you are going to pray that specific prayer today? So on your hangout, on your Wednesday night when you're practicing, or Thursday night when you're practicing, or ahead of time, you give these guys the songs, your band the songs, and say, hey, choose one of these songs that you need to pray this weekend. Which one do you specifically need to pray? And then as a worship leader, I'm like, okay, which one do I need to pray? And I guarantee that your team will see things different that week. They won't just be playing music. They will actually see that they're part of a bigger movement where Jesus is at work, even in them,
That changes the whole barometer of the room.
Oh, man. It changes me as a worship leader when I'm just doing my job, and I've done that for so many years.
Absolutely.
When I go, why do I have to pray this today? I need to pray this today, and why? And it helps me ask better questions with people and listen to Jesus and go, okay, I'm sorry. I've whatever.
Yeah. All right. What I want to do is talk about the song that you have, Reflections of You. And guys, we're going to tell you how you can get this song for free and the album at the very end. So hang with us. Stay here. Okay. In verse 1, this is what you say. Spoiler.
That's so great. Sorry.
It's okay. He can plug himself. It's okay.
Yeah.
So, verse 1, doing it again.
It's Southwest Water.
Doing it
I
again.
stole it. Okay. I did it. I stole it. Verse 1.
Maureen, I don't know if we're going to have him back.
Oh, So dumb. Go on, verse 1.
David, you need to get a hold of this guy. This guy is running loose, man. He's like off the tracks, derailing already.
Yep.
All right, so check this out, everybody. The chorus of Reflections of You.
Yeah.
I love this, and I want you to anchor in for us about surrender, because you talk about that in verse 1, and the chorus says, show us who you want us to love, who you want us to serve. We are the reflections of you, like the sun reflects on the moon. Jesus, you keep shining through. We are the reflections of you.
Yeah. This idea, and this is big. This is for big people right here. This idea that we are representers of Jesus. We can be representers of him, not representatives, but representers of Jesus all day long.
Yeah.
And Sarah Groves, who's one of my favorite songwriters of all time, has this song about, I forget what the song is. It's something about the moon, the sun and the moon. And I was like, duh, that is so cool. I think I was 30 something and going, I just didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
That the moon has no light of its own, but only when the moon is facing the sun, the light, then it represents the sun, right? And so I was thinking about that for kids, like what a cool picture to ask kids. So I asked kids when I was leading that song, hey, does the moon have any light of its own? And no, or whatever their answers are. But this idea that what if they could see themselves as the moon, and when they're facing Jesus, there's the light. The light is like shining on, mirroring off of them. And as a big person, it's so interesting that when we're actually facing Jesus, and when I'm not facing my own kingdom, or like, I got this 1 second, Jesus, like I'm going to lead right now, but you hang out for a second, right? I mean, I've led so many times like that. Not really intentionally like that, but really, if we kind of get down to it, worship leaders, think about it. How many times have we actually led just going, I got this. I'm not representing and mirroring Jesus in me. I'm more just doing my own thing. And so what would it look like for us to be representers of Jesus only when we're facing Jesus? I just love that idea. So how do we help kids learn that early?
I love that, because that will stick with them. That's something that you have small children. I have small children. We're building their lives right now and molding, because this is the most deepest time that their minds and spirits will be shaped.
Yeah, totally.
What I'd like for us to do is to try to play, if we can, the Reflections of You. I'm going to try to get it activated right now. Maybe you can hear it. If not, you can still hear it off the website when you download it. But give me just a quick second. And as I try to get that going, where did the song, tell us, Tim, where did the song come from, Reflections of You?
I was just looking on the record to see who I wrote that with. And I guess I wrote that with myself.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah, no.
How many other people were there beside, on
the whole record?
Personalities of you.
Oh yeah, so I've got Tim over here and John over here.
Okay, we just want to know who's in the room.
People. One is facing Jesus, one is facing something else. No, I mean, I think it really came from how do we help kids, give them prayers that they'll pray for the rest of their lives, and how do we help kids understand that they are representers of Jesus. And that was my hope, really, for my own kids, thinking, how do I give my kids songs to help them understand this point?
Okay, here we go right here. Is that cool? Here's a song.
Jesus, light up our lives like you light up the sky with your power and might. We're reflections of you, Jesus. Light up our lives like you light up the sky with your power and might. We're reflections of you, Jesus. Light up our lives like you light up the sky with your power and might. We're reflections of you, Jesus. Light up our lives like you light up the sky with your power and might. We're reflections of you. We're reflections of you.
Oh, that's so good, guys. If you want to hear,
Yeah.
That's good. So, guys, the chorus is real quick. So we have like this. You got to get the rest. All right, so guys, if you want to get the track that we're playing right now, sign up today. All you need to do is go to that link that I put up there on the video title, wttu.co/Timmons. And if you go to that link right now, you can get this very song that you just heard for free. There's a discount code in there. Look for the discount code. Just copy and paste it into the cart when you add this song while you're inside of our shop on the brand new wttu.co. And also you'll find specials there about membership. So if you want to become a transformed member, what is this university thing that we're talking about anyway? Let me just break it down for you, because Timmons was here when we started to begin the idea of putting a university thing together. You know worshipteamtraining.com for all of our workshops, our mentoring that we do for worship leaders and worship teams. And if you haven't seen it, you can go to that website, worshipteamtraining.com, and see that we come to you for workshops, customized workshops, and also mentoring. I teach out of a book. We bring on people like Tim Timmons, Tony Guerrero, Rich Kirkpatrick. They join us for a workshop. Susie Stabling is now with us, which is amazing. I didn't tell you that. So, yes, so all these people now are coming together, and what we decided is that, hey, there's a lot of guys that just want to get what we do on their phone, or they want to, they're on the bus, or they're in their car commute, or whatever, or walking around the park. What can we do to put all this craft material of over 700 articles, videos, webinars, downloadable books, devotionals, music like Tim Timmons, and everything else? So we decided, hey, let's just put it on a university, make a good site. People can carry it with them. It's on demand. You can go there anytime you want. There's curriculum plans there, so you're not just aimlessly trolling videos, and you have a direct plan. And also there's direct mentoring that you can get from me or any of our other mentors like Timmons. If you want to sign up for a 30-minute session or whatever, all that stuff is packed into the membership. So the membership right now, if you go to this link, we're going to have it running between now and the rest of the next week or so. It's going to be 50% off. So the cost of our normal price is only, $15 a month for the highest membership. And even at $15 a month, you get live shows just like this twice a week, plus on top of all the other articles and videos that we have, and free monthly webinars, downloadable books, downloadable resources. For $15 a month, we're now cutting that in half for you guys. If you go to that link right now, wttu.co/Timmons, you'll get, if you sign up for the Transform monthly, or if you sign up for the yearly, you will get that for half off. So it'll cost you $7 a month, or it'll cost you $69 a year. That's all half off. Plus you'll win the free full album download from Tim Timmons. And you guys that are already members that are watching right now, if you email me, the first 10 people to email me out of all of our database of members, we'll also give you a free download of the album as well. So I hope that's not too many people, because I hope your label's not freaking out.
Nope,
okay, because we want this. We want you guys to give this to your children and to lead children in worship with this album, with Timmons and what he's doing. Tim, can you kind of bring us back home over all the things that you've shared about today and everything that you've done? Tell me, what is the one thing that you keep coming back to?
I mean, if you can get a more broad and ginormous question, that would be great. Brandon.
That I do that best, so.
No, you do. I mean, gosh, I hate to be a broken record, but as leaders, we got to figure out, what are we actually doing? Whether it's with kids or whether it's with adults or worship leaders, what are you actually doing? And for me, I just keep asking the questions. What am I doing today? When I'm about to lead this group of people, I'm going to lead them into this gathering for 80 minutes. And that is so powerful and awesome. So beautiful. But how are we helping them practice Jesus all week long? And I'm spending my whole life now on this thing called 10,000 minutes. And the idea is, it's 10,000minutes.com. You can go there, 1000minutes.com. And the whole idea is I've been a worship leader all my life. I've kicked butt in those 80 minutes, and I love it. 80 minutes, we're practicing Jesus for 80 minutes. But then there are the other 10,000 minutes, and how do we help people practice Jesus in those 10,000 minutes? And just quickly, at the end of the Sermon on the Mount, when Jesus was on a mountain and he's talking to a bunch of people, he said, whoever hears my words and puts them into practice all week long is wise. And if you don't, you're foolish. And for me, as a varsity American Christian, I was awesome. I killed it in the 80 minutes. But the rest of the week, I didn't practice Jesus all week long. As if I had the same spirit that raised him from the freaking dead inside of me, right? And so this idea is, you guys, if we can be practicing really well and helping people practice well in the 80 minutes, but really pushing them into the 10,000 minutes, saying, you guys, this week, this is what we get to do. We get to practice Jesus. Cast your cares on Jesus this week. You know, whatever the practice is. The more that we as leaders are living more in the 10,000 minutes than we are in the 80, I think we're going to be better leaders and lead people in more powerful ways.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Tim, as always, man, Timmons, it's a pleasure having you back. And it's just like, old school, old fun. So thank you so much for being here, sharing your heart, and also sharing your new album with all of us.
Cool. Yeah. I hope you guys like it. And there's some fun songs. I mean, the biggest comment I get is, this isn't a kid's record.
That's what I was just saying. I mean, this is no 7-year-old music right here, Yeah,
no, I wanted, my friend always says, I've got 2 kids records. One's called Sons and Daughters, and this one, he says, man, your kids records are like kid tested, parent approved. That's what you should put. So
there you go.
That's what they are. Yeah.
There you go. Love it. Love
Brandon,
it.
You're awesome, man. So fun to see what you're doing. You're killing it.
Thanks, man. Well, it's all, you guys make it happen. And Timmons, you've been with us for a long time. My thanks and hats off to you, brother, because, we met way back in the day, 2001 with Stan Endicott and all those guys over in Southern Cal. And just to see the friendship that God has made between you and I, and to see the many things that God's put you in and how he's ministered through you. And I'm still astonished over the victory of health that God's given you from, long-term stage of cancer. Can you bring us up to date where you are with that now? And
yeah, so 16 years ago now, they gave me 5 years to live.
Yeah.
And so I just got good news for the first time ever, actually, in the past 16 years. So it's been really interesting. The doctor just said that my tumors are on my liver, and they're always wearing out my heart. That's what they say. And the tumors on my liver, they can't find a few of them, and one of the main tumors is actually shrinking a little bit. Then one in my lymph system, they're like, well, it's just stable. So the doctor's like, I don't know, I'm not doing anything for you, and I don't know why, but so just pretty cool. It's pretty great news. And in that, what was really interesting, and this is, I think, the more beautiful piece to it all, is that for 16 years, we've been practicing, even more for 8, that my joy in Jesus is not contingent upon whether I get good news or bad news at the doctor.
Amen.
It can't be.
Amen.
And every time it is, I live like this. It's so dumb. And it's such a joyless life. And so the more that we've been practicing Jesus and going, okay, you're my joy, you're my hope, not what you can do for me. This news has been like, cool, great. I get to wake up again today. I mean, it hasn't like, people are like, congratulations. I'm like, thank you. But I woke up again. So it's kind of a cool thing to see it like come to fruition. All this practicing of joy in Jesus is now like, when you get great news, it's like, okay, cool.
So you need to write you need to write a song like Willie Nelson again.
Ooh.
You know what I'm saying? Because he talks about the same thing in his life too. I don't want to get morbid, but it was, the funny songs that he writes about himself because he's so old and everything. But to hear you write songs, your songs are of life. Your songs just give so much hope and thankfulness. And the reason why I say that is because I remember meeting you way back the first time. Stan brought you in with a guitar, and you were right before us, and you played Little Man, the song Little Man. And I remember Tim gave his testimony about you just found out, within weeks, you just found out that you had cancer. And you have at that point, you had about 15 kids. you know? And so he was telling us a story about how he just got cancer, and all of us worship leaders are in the room going, what? I mean, we're like crying, like, wow. And we didn't even, we just met you and you were just writing songs. And then there you were singing a song to us, little man, about how little small I am compared to the bigness of God, and God can do anything. And I don't need to put my hope in other circumstances, but only Jesus himself. And watching you, hearing you sing that song, knowing what we knew of your reality was the biggest hope booster I think I had in so long.
Oh man.
And just to see, it's a miracle, dude. I mean, to see, 15, 16 years later, where you're at right now, it's not because, yes, you worked hard. Absolutely. Yes, you've done a lot of music. Absolutely. But it's only because of what you are allowing God to work through you in such a way that speaks volumes. And that is what is encouraging, my friend.
Thank you. That's so cool. That's a great encouragement. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty amazing why Jesus keeps waking me up. I don't know, but he keeps waking me up. And for whatever reason, whoever you are that's listening, he woke you up again today. I mean, that is the great gift. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, so I'm starting to tear up a little bit just thinking about it, because it's just so, this is real. This is not made up. Let's catch the hottest song week after week and put it in a worship set and get everything perfect. This is the real deal right here. And so you brought it today, my friend. Thank you for that, Tim.
Of course. Honored to be on here. Thanks, everybody.
Awesome. We're going to have you back. And we'll coordinate schedules to make things happen sometime next year. Cool. But guys, if you want to see more of Tim Timmons, you can get him right now with the membership, and you can get a download of the song, a download of the album if you get a membership today. And we're already having emails come in, and we had a guy already saying that he couldn't get on the site. I'm sorry, because the site got overloaded jammed with people. So the site is like, we got our tech person working really hard right now, but we have memberships coming in right now as we speak that people are signing up. So thank you guys. You can catch Tim on our membership side. So on the university site that I'm talking about, go to wttu.co/Timmons. And when you select the button to become a member today, you will find we did about 3 webinars of you that we got already up on the site. You get those for free, by the way. We've done some shows with you already that are up on the site, and we got your articles and stuff, and now we got your music. So cool. You got him. You got Sandra McCracken, who just showed up yesterday.
Amazing.
And then also coming this week, we have guys like Jamie Harville coming back. You got Paul Balash that was on the show as well. Rich Kirkpatrick. I mean, it just goes on and on. But these people are there because they're committed to bringing you, worship leader and worship team member, the help that you need for your worship ministry. So you brought it today, Tim. Thank you so much again for your time and bringing the real, sharing your heart.
Awesome. Thanks, you guys.
Awesome. Thanks, brother. And guys, we invite you again, while the link is still live and while the specials are still up, if you go to wttu.co/Timmons, be sure to check out Tim Timmons with his music. You can also find him at timmonsmusic.com.
Timmons Music, and then 10,000minutes.com. I blog every week. Yeah.
And every day you'll get an email from Tim about 10,000 minutes. I subscribe to it and I love it. You guys will get it too. Check that out. The website, what we got going on. The link is there. And if you're watching by Facebook Live and also by Periscope. Guys, thanks so much for joining us again today. Next week, we'll be back with you on Tuesday with our regular format at 11 a.m. Central with our local worship leader guest. Also, we have Jamie Harville coming up next Thursday. Followed before that, we have Kent Morris doing a webinar on dynamic mixing for audio. So if you're a sound engineer or tech, you want to be sure to watch that. It's going to be great. So, all right, guys. Thanks so much for joining us. Tim, stay with me for a second. All right.
Cool.
And guys, we'll see you back next Tuesday. Love you. Be sure to go and get Timmons music.
God bless America. God bless Neil Diamond. And may God bless you.
All the time, baby. Stay there. Don't leave. Yeah. All right. Love you guys. See you soon. Bye.
This has been a worship team training broadcast and digital production with your host and training director, Brannon Dempsey. Worship Team Training provides live workshops and online resources to help inspire, create, and transform the leading of worship. We'll see you again right here on worshipteamtraining.com.